What's up, man? Band 20! More like Fam Band 20. He's my fam, folks. That's right. Streaming at the same time as Asterios, truly boomer versus zoomer. I think it's very different types of shows tonight, folks. I don't think we're stealing each other's audiences. I doubt he's doing a depression chamber on his stream. And also, I have no choice but to record right now, folks. Because I said I would always do the depression chamber on Monday. Today's Monday, but also I usually do the show at 10 p.m. Right now it's 9 p.m. You wonder, Mumkey, why would you make that change? I don't like change, Mumkey. I can't deal with this change in my life. It makes me depressed. I need a depression chamber to help me. Well, Sheep and I are going to go see Endgame tonight at 10:30, so we're doing this early, and I'm getting out of here at 10. We'll do an hour of depression chamber, get a load off our minds, maybe get a load out of our balls, jerking off to these stories of people failing in academic settings, social settings, trying to find a cutie pie GF to love them. But folks, does it ever work out that way? Not in the depression chamber. No. Skumky, I know I've already seen the film. Sheepover has not yet seen it. Sheepover hasn't yet seen it. Of course, I've seen Endgame, because we reviewed it on here, I think, yesterday, and I uploaded it to my channel today. Hey, Toothless Ninja, welcome aboard. So, without further ado, folks, welcome to the Depression Chamber, the one show on the internet where every Monday night a monkey-faced host reads the submitted stories of anonymous listeners about their lives dealing with depression, loneliness, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, the inability to get a cutie pie GF, so many things. So many reasons why you might submit to the depression chamber. What we do here is I read the stories, I see the chat's reactions to them, maybe I'll do some armchair psychology, and we move on. That's what we do. So let's skip past all of the next top E-Rich application emails and go straight into the depression chamber. Here's a short one to get us started. After I take a sip of my delicious black tea, folks, once you go black, you might want to try green. M writes, "Hi, Mumkey. If you are reading this, then thanks for reading an email that will probably be a rambly mess. I don't think this story is as bad as some of the others you read, but I'll share it with you anyway. For some background, I moved right before I started 8th grade. As the new and lonely kid at my school, I ended up hanging out with a group of kids that literally worship Shrek, whom I will be referring to as the Church of Shrek from now on. Fast forward to the autumn of 2018 when I began my freshman year of high school. So far, I have made a few more friends in high school, although a few of them sometimes jokingly called me a child predator, especially this one kid in my English class. Let's call him Alex. This is where everything starts to do downhill. I have always been interested in making music, so I got in contact with this producer to teach me about making music, which resulted in me doing barely any homework for a month, making my grades suffer. Then I started to make a song with lyrics and everything. It was really bad, as most of the instrumental part was just loops that I found on some website, and I recorded the vocals at a convention. Okay. I told one of my friends about it, we'll call him Danny, and he wanted to hear it, so I sent it to him, trusting him that he wouldn't share it with anyone. I should not have trusted him. Next thing I know, that feels like the Arrested Development narrator jumped into the story. I should not have trusted him. Next thing I know, that piece of shit Danny had shared my song with people within the Church of Shrek, and they kept on making fun of me for it. Alex would always bring it up in English, and a few others would keep on singing the lyrics to the song in their classes as well. Then I found out that 2 people wanted to make the song viral, so I contacted everyone I knew that had my song and begged them all to delete it so it wouldn't go viral. So far, it seems to have worked. Another thing that happened at this time that fueled my downward spiral was that I asked out a girl and oh man, this is a guy? A guy recorded himself singing a song? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about an amateur male singer. At least pretty much 90% of girls can sing normal. Guys, we ain't so lucky. But Mumkey, don't all... The text is too big to read. I swear to God, we fixed that 2 streams ago. Then I found out people want to make... Yeah, it seems to have worked. Another thing that happened at this time that fueled my downward spiral was that I asked out a girl and got reported to the office after she noticed me brushing her hair with my fingers. Of course, the Church of Shrek found out about this, and I've had to try to convince them that it's just a rumor. It's probably pointless to do that. They already joke about me being a child predator, and it started to piss me off at this time. It got to the point where I tried to beat the shit out of Alex during lunch when he jokingly said that I liked to commit incest. Ever since that day, he has stopped talking to me and actively avoids me. And that is the story of my downward spiral. I'm not sure if it's depression that I feel from all this, but it's not a good feeling. I hope you enjoyed this mess of an email. And that's story number 1. I added Brad Dassey on Snapchat, now it keeps snapping me. You're not the first person who has said those same exact word-for-word message to me. I've had more than one person say literally that same exact thing. Brad Dassey's just snapping out at everybody if you add him. Okay, Church of Shrek, ha ha ha. I'm gonna go shoot my goo. Great advice from the chat for this guy. I would say, Mr. M, you are taking yourself way too fucking seriously. Take a page out of the Mumkey book. Did I do a bunch of cringy things in high school? Yeah. Did I make cringy media? Maybe not a song, but a shit ton of horribly cringy, embarrassing movies? Yeah. Was I scared of them going viral? No! I hoped they would go viral. I put them in the public eye and said, take a look at this embarrassing shit. I have a sense of humor about myself. I have a sense of self-awareness. I don't take myself so fucking seriously all the time. Look at this embarrassing shit I made. Isn't that funny? You gotta own it. You gotta own it. It's only going to hurt on the inside if you let it. The only victim is you allowing yourself to be victimized in this situation. Just embrace it. Say, yeah, this song's a fucking riot, isn't it? Man, I sure do look like a moron that I made this. Isn't that funny? I don't know. I've made videos about it. I think some of them, before I got yeeted, I think we had like 250,000 views on at least one of those bad boys. You just gotta join Clown World, my friend. Stop taking everything so seriously. Just have a little bit of fun in your life. It seems that these Church of Shrek guys, clearly they're top-tier memers, the type of people I would probably want to be friends with. And you're getting upset and physically violent with them because they're making jokes about, what, you fucking your sister? Oh? Guess what happened when people accused me of that? I embrace it. I say, I didn't fuck my sister. I fucked my dog. I fucked my little brother. I ain't got a sister, but I wish I had 3 of them so we could have a fucking foursome. That's what you gotta do. You gotta embrace this shit and have fun. Honk, honk, my friend. Honk it out. I don't know, chat. What do you think? I think he needs to be able to take a little bit of bants. Looks like you're freaking out about the bants. Your friends are trying to bant with you. And perhaps you're having an autistic meltdown and you can't handle the bants. I don't know. Patchy got dick down. You're goddamn fucking right he did. Listen, we were brothers growing up in corn country, Iowa. No neighbors around, nobody else. You know, and when you turn 18 and you don't have your driver's license yet, and you gotta experiment. You gotta lose your virginity somehow! I said, Patchy, get up here. Let me borrow your car so I can go fuck some bitches! That's what happened. That's what happened. Put that one in the record books. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's find a new story, folks. We fixed that man's life. Let's move on. We are heroes. Here's another seemingly short one from John. I don't know how funny my story will be, but here goes. I recently got of my stepdad constantly being an asshole to me and my mom. Tired of him constantly yelling at us and berating us. I was working third shift, and on nights that I didn't work, I would sit in my room and starve because God forbid I wake him up and trying to get some food. I got into a fight with him, flipped his table, and ran out. I'm now staying with my dad in his third-floor apartment, and it's okay, I guess. My room is just the living room extension, and the only thing separating my room from the actual living room is a curtain. This isn't the least of my worries, though. My job started cutting my hours to only 1 day a week, so I've been putting out applications everywhere around me to no avail. My options are kinda limited because I don't have a vehicle, but I'm trying everywhere remotely in walking distance. Nowhere will fucking hire me. A couple months ago, my 2 friends were putting out applications too, and they found jobs immediately. It's fucking infuriating. I can't support myself, let alone save up for a car and get my own place like this. Also, in my 19 years of life, I've literally never been in a relationship. I've been trying to ask girls out, and they always say no. This girl at the gym was looking back at me. I thought she was checking me out. I was stupid for getting my hopes up. I approached her and told her that she was really cute, she wasn't, and asked if she wanted to hang out. She looked at me for a sec and thought about it, and then said that she was seeing somebody. I made a Tinder, but I get almost no matches. The 2 whales who matched me didn't even respond when I tried to message them. I'm becoming hopeless real fast. I am just simply not happy, and I don't know how much longer I can live like this. I don't know how many times I can face failure and rejection. I think about ending my life all the time. Really, the only reason I haven't is because I'm scared of pain and I don't have a vehicle to get to a gun safety class to get my gun license. Hopefully I can borrow someone's car to get there real soon. I don't think I'll be alive in a few months. Hopefully I'll be able to make it to June to see Boomer vs. Zoomer live in Boston. And that is John's email. Now, John, I think I recognize your username. There might be somebody else with a similar name. I think I recognize you. I think you might have been one of the big donators for this special project I made. I can't remember the name of it. I collected a lot of money for it from fans, made some sort of Elliot Rodger themed comic book. Again, it's all fuzzy in my mind. I think I seem to have spaced out on it. I don't remember what it was called or even if I tried to sell it. I really don't. But there was one tier in my Kickstarter where if you donate a certain amount of money, we will draw you as a character in the book. Now, John, I think it might have been you. Was it you, John? I think that was you. If so, maybe, just maybe. Maybe when they do the little John Google search at all these application places, all these places you're applying for, maybe a book pops up. They're like, oh, this is maybe a Kickstarter pops up. This is what he gave money to? Wait a second. Hold on. No, that's not possible. I doubt it. I doubt that's the case, but it is funny. I hope you do make it to the Boomer vs. Zoomer show live in Boston. That'd be really cool. If you ever see this, I'd love for you to come up and be like, hey, I was the guy from the thing. I'm gonna go kill myself. And I'll be like, oh, me too, bro. And we can do a bro fist. Suicide friends. Because we're gonna blow ourselves up with dynamite. That's what secret handshakes and explosion. Mumkey's acknowledging the forbidden text. I'm gonna be a Poindexter with these cool sunglasses. Well, technically. Anyway, forbidden text. You guys have any advice for John here? Even ugly girls don't want to date him. Fat girls on Tinder don't want to date him. Maybe they were looking at him at the gym because he was doing his stretches wrong. He was stretching out his groin when he went to get his... He wanted to get his hamstring stretched. You know what I'm saying, folks? I remembered 6th grade gym class. That's right. How does he look? Well, I don't remember which one he was. I recognize the name. If a girl doesn't want to date you, just fuck yourself and find ways to have a good time. Well, that's some advice from one of the moderators of the chat. She does have a sword next to her name, so I would take what she says pretty seriously. I mean, I believe she is of the female species, folks. Maybe she has a good point. Let's take a look at that donation from Scumkey. He said, but Mumkey, don't all the America's Next Top E-Rich emails now count as depression chamber? Those poor guys' dreams are crushed by bull E-Rich. Yeah. Oh. I missed a donation yesterday from Zomspy, sorry. He said, are you going to see and or review the new Native Son movie? Also, E-Rich owes you $25 as no new character was revealed to be a Skrull. Did he say that for Endgame or just the future in general? Yeah, folks, I'm going to have my own depression chamber about this a long time ago, and I don't think this video's even up anymore. I made a video reviewing a movie adaptation starring Oprah Winfrey of my favorite book, Native Son, and I thought that the movie was poorly done and could have been better. And then I found out that some hipster guy is making a new Native Son movie, and I think it premiered at Sundance or something earlier this year, but it's looks horrible. I think it's a book that takes place, I think, in the 30s. This movie takes place, I think, in the modern day, and they just completely ruined what it's even about. It looks disgusting. It has me really upset, and yeah, Depression Chamber Mumkey. They're making an even worse adaptation of my favorite book. Make scripted content. Go to Simmy and Jimmy on YouTube. Take a look. Go to monkeyjones.tv. Take a look. Plenty of it on there for you. Native Son is a great book. Thank you, Lucifer. Thank you. Finally, somebody says it. Let's go on to the next story. Here's one from 589. Let me start by saying I do not think depression is a disease. Rather, it is a symptom of any number of problems. I suppose my problems begin with my parents. My mother was an autistic poor white girl who didn't hang around the best of crowds. My father, on the other hand, was a no-good metalhead slacker Mexican. Sounds like the kind of guy I would like to hang out with. Metalhead slacker Mexican! What is that, my old buddy Biggs? Hell yeah! Who had gained psychopathic tendencies ever since his father left him. Again, my old buddy Biggs. And I was their bastard child. My mom became a first-grade teacher, the first in her family to graduate college, and my dad became a bus driver for old Jewish people. My dad quickly became frustrated with the responsibility he was forced to develop. He and my mother were constantly screaming at each other. The only reason my father stays with her is to prove he's better than his father. I grew up with no human interaction besides these to people for a while. That messed me up a lot. Then something worse came. My sister. Da da da. It was the revelation of a second pregnancy that made my parents get married. So I was the only one not born in wedlock. It was literally a dark and stormy night. And the power went out at the hospital. Does this story take place in Mexico? Mexican father, power goes out at the hospital when you're being born. Sounds like a typical fiesta night, folks.
So saw some dude that did something called freakishly bizarre about Elliot Rodger, and I gotta say that it paled in comparison with your Elliot Rodger content. Miss Ya Mumkey, hope you're doing alright.
Hope you guys could hear that okay. Let me know if you couldn't and I'll read it again. I have not seen the freakishly bizarre YouTube video about Elliot Rodger. It's disappointing that he's allowed to make them and I'm not. Because I'm sure we're covering the same story, but whatever. Whatever. It's fine. I'm glad you like mine more. That's cool. I probably will never make an Elliot-based video again, but really, what more is there to say? The irony here is that I literally made a video saying I'm done making Elliot Rodger videos. I completed my series. I George Lucased myself out of there. I said if Disney wants to buy the rights, they can make their own Elliot Rodger documentaries, but I'm done. But yeah, thanks. Thank you for the $10. I'm gonna see if I can't fix the donation thing right now so it so it's not too big again. It keeps resetting evidently. Yeah, it keeps resetting to fucking a billion. Save. Okay, somebody donate $100 to test and make sure the font changed. Somebody do that. Slow depression chamber today? Maybe it's too early. Oh, I thought you meant in terms of viewers. I was like, no, that looks about the same. Anyway, my mom became... Oh, no, we're way past that. It was the revelation of a second pregnancy that made my parents get married, so I was the only one not born in wedlock. It was literally a dark and stormy night, and the power went out at the hospital. My mom began to bite my aunt. The doctors gave her drugs to relieve the pain, but it didn't work. That was my sister's birth. My sister was born with a lump on her head, as if some sort of mark of Cain. I think she is a psychopath, as she has tortured me from infancy to now. I became fearful of her and hid in my room constantly. At school, I began as a prodigy. I received excellent grades and exhibited much musical talent. But I was constantly bullied by my classmates because all I knew of human interaction was my fucked up family. Not only that, but the school was mostly Hispanic, Mexican story, I'm telling you folks. And I was constantly scorned for not being a real Mexican since I was mostly raised by my white family members and my father had lost touch with his culture. It sounds like Biggs again. We said that shit to him all the time. You gotta learn how to take the bants when you join the Church of Shrek, folks. That's the story. My only friends were the only two white kids, two depressed, wait.
Is it working yet?
What? Well, I guess we know it wasn't working because the text is still tiny, but you absolute fucking madman, Skumkey. Whoa. Okay, now I guess somebody do a billion? Give me the opening box office weekend of Avengers Endgame, please. Skumkey, you absolute madman. Thank you. Still can't hear it? Okay, I'll turn it up. I think Skumkey might be rich. He's definitely the top donator. Maybe he realizes he ripped off my username. And now he's trying to pay me reparations. Okay. Sound effect. Be louder. Volume's at 60. I guess we'll make it 100. And is there any way to change? I mean, I already changed the text, so it just doesn't want to update. That's all I can do. Anyway, thank you again, Skumkey. Let's move on. My only friends were the only two white kids and two depressed Mexicans. The stress started getting to me. I started turning in most of my work and my grades suffered. This made my parents even more mad at me. I was barely able to make it through junior high. Now I'm in high school. Thank you, Jobo Khan. And it's filled with degenerate thugs. 3 of my 4 friends went with me to high school, but the one who didn't is my oldest and closest friend. I feel like I could tell her anything, and I have told her some fucked up shit. I love her more than anyone else, and yet I have never thought of her sexually. I feel more like I have to protect her. I'm pretty sure she might be a lesbian anyway. Yeah, well, that's a typical thread in these stories on the Depression Chamber. But she once said butch lesbians disgust her, so make of that what you will. Well, maybe she just likes normal lesbians. There is a girl I like, though. She's really beautiful, and unlike the rest of the girls, neither dresses like a slut nor a dyke. I feel so attracted to her, yet I'm too scared to say anything to her. Unlike most of the people in these stories, I generally have no problems talking to people or making friends. But I just get so nervous around her. I'm also afraid she may have heard me say a racist joke to one of my friends. Oh well. I've never said a word to her, no next to nothing about her, and I doubt she knows I exist, so advice on how to talk to her is welcomed. Alright, chat, rev up those fryers, give them advice on how to talk to this girl. That reminds me, a little while ago, I was called to the counselor's office. He asked me if wait. Okay, no, never mind. He asked me if I was having any trouble at school. I told him about me not doing work, but something with him seemed off. I asked him why he really called me down. He said I was overheard being anti-Semitic, not true, and homophobic, true. He said the person who overheard reported me to the principal due to the recent synagogue shooting. He began to rant about how I should accept all people and said I may need to call my parents. I was terrified because my mother is a shill for diversity, yet clearly by her marriage habits, huh? But I got off scot-free because I was otherwise excellently behaved, and this was my first offense. Long story short, this story is almost completely irrelevant. Though I strongly disagree with your atheist sentiments, oh, well, anti-Fedora tip on that one. Nevertheless, your content helps relieve the extreme boredom I feel. I wish I could donate, but my parents don't pay me even though they treat me like a slave. In case you were wondering, my parents hate my devout Christianity, so at least you know they didn't brainwash me. That is a good point, actually. I'll send a follow-up if I ever wind up talking to that girl. Okay, folks, that's the story. Let's see what advice you guys gave. Eat less, exercise more. Good advice. When you talk to her, tell her how much you hate the girl power scene in Endgame. That will probably work. I think the moral to all of these stories is Baloo's timeless words concerning girls from the Jungle Book. Forget about those. They ain't nothing but trouble. That's true. That's true. That is good advice. That is good advice. You know what? That is good advice. They are nothing but trouble. He should find common ground with that girl. Yeah, find out if maybe there's a certain group of people that she hates as well, and you can just pretend that you also hate them. How the fuck is he a theist? Well, because he admits to being homophobic, and as we all know, every single Christian hates gay people. That's what Stephen Colbert taught me on his apolitical comedy program. Since when do slaves get paid? Good question, Jared Jams. Good question. Okay. Let's find the next one. I keep getting emails for the ultimate guide to autism therapies from Autism Parenting Magazine, so thank you to whoever signed me up for that. It's been very useful. Great advice. Finding the best method for treating autism is often a challenge for the loved ones of children and adults with autism spectrum disorder, ASD. Because no two people with ASD are exactly the same, it's vital to choose a method of treatment and therapy, and an intervention plan that is tailored to address specific needs. Check out our guide on the best autism therapies. Did you know you can save 50% by subscribing to an annual subscription and get $30 of free bonuses by subscribing today? And that was his story. Very touching. Very touching. Oh my god, this motherfucker wrote a whole book with different arcs that are labeled as chapters. Freshman year of college arc. Deep shit, what have I got myself into arc. The downward spiral arc. Oh my god. He timed himself reading this out loud, and it came to 1 hour and 2 minutes. Well, I'm leaving to go see Endgame in half an hour, so we have to skip this one for now, but I need to star it and mark it as unread, because we're going to read this motherfucker next Monday. That might be the whole episode is this one. This one is huge. I'm sorry that I have to leave in half an hour, because this looks fantastic. Who the fuck labels arcs like he's fucking Naruto? Don't worry, folks. If you're not around next week, maybe it'll be so good I'll put it up on my channel. Otherwise, just look for the VOD. Look for the VOD. Why is the bit text so... I can't fucking read that. It said all men are on the autistic spectrum somewhere. Men are people. Maybe, well... Is it more rare in women than it is in men? I don't know. Okay, text thing. Let's see if you can change your size again. Font size fucking 12. Come on. My dick's fucking size 12, if you know what I'm saying. I'm Super Saiyan right now. Here we go. What? What am I even talking about, folks? The depression... Okay, here's Jared Jams. He's in the chat. Jared Jams, we finally got to yours. A man who has been insistent on making sure I receive a picture of the girl he has a crush on, who happens to be very cute. The cutest of all the girl submissions we've seen so far. Unfortunately, he does not want me to share a photo of her. But, I'd say he has pretty good taste. And she has Naruto goggles around her. She's like wearing Naruto goggles around her throat, around her neck. Throat's kind of a violent word, isn't it? Okay. Hey, Mumkey, I wrote a Depression Chamber story a while back, but you never got around to it, so I'll send you a revised version. It's only a summary of my problems, and there's a lot to unpack, so I'll just give you the bare minimum. Like many other stories in this series, my trouble revolved a lot around a girl. I first met her in high school, freshman year, and she started out as just an acquaintance, but then in sophomore year, she started acting really silly and nervous around me. Uh-oh. And I had the radical idea that she had a crush on me. I don't know. Nervous? Maybe the wrong kind of nervous, my friend. Eventually, though, it turned out that she liked another guy, but we remained friends throughout sophomore year and early junior year. But a few things muddied the relationship. I hope it won't be too embarrassing to admit, but as of the time of writing this email, I've never driven a car. I had heard about a lot of very disturbing car accidents, and I get panic attacks if I even think about driving a car. It didn't help that my school kept hammering in how dangerous driving can be, as if the first 10,000 times weren't enough. This girl shared similar fears, but eventually got over them and started driving herself. It doesn't seem like much now, but back then when I was really close to her, I became overprotective and was constantly worried something horrible would happen to her. She even told me as a kid she was in a car that flipped over, which makes me feel bad that she was not as scared as I was, when I never went through anything quite as bad. Eventually, we kinda grew apart and she started hanging out with other kids who I frankly found annoying. I think what might separate me from the other stories you read was that I was aware of my obsessive behavior and tried not to be a stalker. I have OCD, and it's really not so much this girl changing, so much this girl was changing too much, or in my mind, put herself in danger by driving, although they played a part. But it's more the fact that I couldn't get these repetitive thoughts out of my head. Every time I listen to the Linkin Park song, Figure 09, I think of all this. Mostly, I just feel bad for wasting so much time and energy on all this when I could have been improving myself. I'm not very independent, and I think that's what lies at the core of my problem. I feel bad that I'm not as depressed as some other entries, but I still think I need help. By the way, you said to send pictures of these girls, and I ask you to please not share it because I'm sure she would not approve. She's the one wearing the goggles, but it may be improper for you to comment on her looks because she was 16 at the time it was taken. I'll have you note, I only said he has good taste. This image initially inspired a book series I'm writing. Whoa! A woman so beautiful. She inspired you to write, to craft a story, folks. Unrivaled beauty. And it's helped me through a lot of this. You may remember when I shilled it, yeah, with your short film submission. It was probably the worst submission we got. If you ever want to, you can reach to the reaction video I did of your reaction to my shill, but you don't have to. I'm sorry if this was lengthy, but at least I didn't send you a cringy 10-page stalker story or something. I send you hope, take it everywhere. Quote from my book. Okay, do you guys want to watch the video he submitted of him reacting to my reaction to his short film, or should we just move on? DM me the pics, I'll give you $10. Waterman makes a good point. Hey, Jared Jams, I'll give you $1 if I can DM it to this one guy. Jared Jams, it's up to you. Do you want a free buck? Jared, if you agree, we can DM it to everybody who donates $10, and then you could probably make like $10 tonight, dude. It was like 10 minutes, you don't have to? Okay, he doesn't want to watch the video. But Jared, tell me, are we gonna make some money tonight? Selling just a normal picture of a 16-year-old girl's Instagram post. That's fine, I guess. Okay. Everybody who donates $10, whatever email is on your PayPal, I'll send you the photo. That's fucking funny. Yeah, why are they're bidding on a normal picture of a high school girl. That's fucking funny. How could it be illegal? It's just an image. If I take somebody's Instagram photo and say, hey, I'll email you this picture for $10, that's not fucking illegal, it's just absurd. It's fucking stupid. Jared, you don't need PayPal. The PayPal's just for me. I'll find a different way to pay you. I'll send you a bunch of $1 bills in the mail. Anyway, he doesn't want us to watch his video, so let's move on to the next story. From Daziggy. Oh my god, this one's as long as a fucking contract. Okay, we'll have to save this one for later too. I'm gonna have to start that bad boy. Too long. Shredder the Man. Okay, this one's very short. Hello, let me preface this by saying I have Asperger's syndrome. Don't know why that made me laugh. To help you understand some of my behaviors. Throughout my life, I have never been good at people things. I always had been the class clown because that was the only way I knew how to be. Other than that, I'd be really quiet. So I would always end up being alone throughout the day. I used to have a variety of friends, though I later found out that they only kept me around so they could make fun of me, because it was easy. I was disabled and visibly autistic, so they took advantage of my weakness. I didn't even realize that they were doing it until I stopped taking my medication, which turned out to be inhibiting a lot of my mental functions. I was completely hurt by how they were treating me, and I had to cut them all out of my life. The only problem is that they went full force trying to get me in as much shit as possible, to the point where they almost got me arrested for crimes I didn't commit. It got to the point where I was made out to be the model school bad stuff type kid at my old school. No one would really talk to me at that point. Eventually, I moved to Texas to start fresh in life, where I was immediately singled out.
Over Twitter PM. Love you, Monkey. Yours truly, Skumky Scones. When's my interview?
So I think tonight we've had 3 donations, totaling $111. All of them were from Skumky. Skumky, you didn't have to pay 10 again. You already paid 100. I'll send you the picture 10 fucking times, dude. But yeah, I guess $1 of that will go to you, Jared Jams. Skumky, I'm gonna send you this picture on Twitter 11 times, because that's how many times you paid for it. What did he even say? Oh, he just said send it on Twitter. Okay. To the point where I started to Texas to start out fresh in life, where I was immediately singled out for being the weird white kid who sits alone at lunch, which honestly hurt. The only real form of social interaction I have anymore is with some friends on Discord that I met last August. I am slowly losing my passion for all things, and it hurts so much. I don't know what to do with life anymore. Thank you for reading. Okay, we need some expertise here. We have a severely autistic man, and he's the outcast, and everybody treats him like shit. People who he thinks are his friends are treating him like shit. They're pranking him, trying to get him arrested. People think he's a lone gunman here in his lunchroom. People, I assume a Mumkey chat has at least 2 autistic people in it. Autistic people in the chat. How do you make friends in high school? Being non-autistic here is a minority, yeah. No, you're right. Dress in normal people clothes. Patchy's GF! Patchy's GF, are you fucking ready? Because I'm doing a 4-part series on my channel, Simian Jimmy. documenting the 4 short films I've made for contests. And Patchy's GF, I hope you're ready, because you're in one of them. You're going to be front and center, Patchy's GF. I hope you can handle the fucking limelight. She says she's so ready. Hell yeah. You know, maybe I should do interviews with the cast for some of these. That'd be funny. Like, oh yeah, what'd you think of my work ethic behind the scenes? Hey, you were an asshole. Oh, thanks. Worth it. Stick to the class clown, but slowly do things to make yourself taken more seriously. Okay. So then you have a friend who is probably also some sort of social outcast, and at the same time, just by sitting next to him, you seem like a normal guy because he's so outgoing and abrasive. Fat Thor is the Captain Marvel for gamers. Lucifer, I think is that 10 or 101? Need to know if I'm sending you a picture after this stream. Oh, it was 101. You almost tricked me, Lucifer, with a tiny fucking text. Fat Thor is the Captain Marvel for gamers. Okay. You know, that's fair. That is fair. Don't let Sheep hear that, though. She hasn't seen the movie yet. Nobody text-to-speech donate spoilers, because Sheep is watching this, and she's gonna go see the movie in an hour. Based. Fuck you, Lucifer. Fucking asshole. Whoa! We got a story from a girl, folks! That's right! We always freak out on this show when we get a genuine, authentic female. Because as we all know, females do not pass, usually, the Depression Bechdel test, folks. Let's see if we read a girl's story and we all actually agree that she's depressed. It's one of my favorite games we do here. Very respectful of 50% of the population. Very respectful of those suffering from mental illnesses. Let's take a look. Females get depressed, believe me. Oh, that's fucking rough. Ooh. Give us a Bechdel test already. No, you guys are a bunch of men. It doesn't work on you. After watching 2 of your Depression Chamber podcasts, I decided I wanted to share a bit of my own story. By the way, I am in fact a 21-year-old girl. I know it's surprising. Growing up in elementary middle school, I used to be the popular girl. No, I'm just kidding. I used to be the popular girl. I would always have the latest and greatest toys, and I thought I was hot shit. That changed pretty quickly once puberty happened, and I didn't grow up like the rest, and most of my friends left me. Sadly, by the time I graduated middle school, I took comfort in anime's big, strong, muscular arms. By the time I got to high school, I still had a pretty strong group of friends who warned me about the dangers of anime club. Apparently it was run by lesbian ninja girls. Okay, if you guys haven't seen that YouTube video about the 2 lesbian ninja girls who want people to join their anime club, maybe we should watch that. That's the most depressing depression chamber of them all. Let me know in the chat if you guys want to watch that after this story. Maybe we'll end the stream with that. That's a great fucking video. My reputation was already ruined in my eyes, but did I want to join a lesbian ninja club? I ended up joining and became sheriff of that club by the time I graduated. One of the lowest points of my life was skipping out on a golf championship to run around the halls of my school dressed up as Haruhi Suzumiya, while my high school bio teacher called me Sailor Moon. Going into college was such a change. I joined anime club there, and I ended up dating some guy who turned out to be a narcissistic asshole who believed he was a god. Sounds like an anime fan. I swear this probably sounds fake as shit. Nope. We all know the guy. He had what seemed almost like a cult following by the time my first year was over, and I was looked at as the leader's girlfriend. That relationship ended horribly, and it got to the point where the cops had to be called just so I could escape. If I was to give any advice to people like me, anime is a mistake, and don't date chads who look up to Superman. Your friendly Rebus. And that's her story. She dated Etika. Oh, maybe is this a troll story? I don't know, it looks real to me, but was she also dating Etika? You guys see this Etika shit? Is that how you pronounce it? I never watched him before. Etika? Whoever it is.
Man crawls up Thanos' rectum and expands, blowing him up. Thor and Hulk dab in the background. and Captain Marvel goes on a 5-minute rant about women's rights.
Hopefully you guys could hear that. But yeah, Etika was arrested today. Not because he's been posting suicidal stuff on Twitter, but evidently actually because he was tweeting about how he's gonna kill Donald Trump. I think that's why he was forcibly arrested. That would be my guess, but I don't know. That's the worst story I've ever heard. Yeah, okay, so she's probably not ugly. Probably just an attractive 21-year-old anime fan. Used to be popular, so knows what it feels like, unlike us who have never felt that before. Dates a Chad. I mean, come on, is this a fucking joke to you? Rebus? You fuck? This is the depression chamber where men, they pull out their hearts for us to feast upon. You're like, oh man, I dated Chad, he was an asshole. You know shit, you're fucking Stacy! Of course Chad's an asshole! Stacy has to put up with it to get his thunder cock! Otherwise she would be dating guys like me! With a normal cock! Why is everybody hoping my blood pressure's alright? Stop saying that. You're making me you're making me worried. What's going on? What the fuck? Why is everybody saying that all of a sudden? What happened? Anyway, I saw people wanted to watch the video, so we're gonna watch it. Anime Club. Anime Club, yeah. Okay, it's 2 minutes. It's only 2 minutes, folks. Come on. Let's see if we can't get this bad boy up. Display capture. I love the part when Captain America and Black Panther share a long, passionate kiss, ending racism worldwide. That was a good scene. Thank you again, Lucifer. Okay, boys, here's the Anime Club video. Let me know if you guys love it as much as I do if you haven't seen it yet. I gotta turn this shit way up, fam. Prepare for the truest of the depression. I think you should have someone at Pat's party. Yeah, I definitely did. AOC's original ad campaign. Mike's wearing a skirt with pants. That's why Pat UCF should wear normal people's clothes.
So, wanna go to Anime Club?
Yeah, definitely. Pant. I hear they're supposed to be doing Vampire Night cosplay. I think one of them is supposed to be dressed up as Zero.
You know, those are two chicks.
Why are you looking at me like that?
What are we waiting for? Let's go! Anime Club, every single Wednesday at room North 135. Goes from 2:30 to 3:30 or 4 o'clock. Be there. Please come!
But that's not the first time she said that before! What? What does that mean? I don't know. That's fucked up. That's a fucked up thing I said. Okay. Okay, we got more time. Let's go back to some stories, folks. Pure genius. The only thing better was the God and Jesus show. Thank you, Blame. Blame the hero. That's right. Okay, so that's true depression chamber right there. If I was one of those two females, yes, they were both girls, I would probably be submitting a story to this show. What the fuck kind of name is Jake Boss? Good question, Bacon. Good question. People were locked up in the back room. I was in a Pokemon club in high school. Am I weeb even though we just played the games together? No, I would say that's It's not weeby, because a lot of kids in America didn't even know Pokemon was an anime. To them, it's just another cartoon with video games. You're only a weeb if you watch shit that I would not see on my Saturday morning cartoons. At least in my opinion, folks. Saturday morning cartoons are the gateway to become a weeb, but does not one a weeb make, folks? Let me know what you think in the chat. That might be controversial, I don't know. If you think you're a weeb because you watched motherfucking Shaolin Showdown, Jackie Chan Adventures, and Pokemon. I know real anime. I watched Jackie Chan Adventures as a kid. I watched Skunk Fu. You guys ever seen Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island and Skunk Fu, my two favorite fucking animes? Okay, let's move on. Colin. Hey, Mumkey, this isn't really a depression story, but whatever, fuck you. I'll tell it anyway. I guess I should start at the beginning, the first chapter of my life I can remember. So, our story begins in northern Pennsylvania. I'm around 4 years old and I'm happy. I'm not entirely sure whether my parents were fucked up or not at the time, but I do remember frequent fighting between them, likely about financial shit. Anyway, there's not much to say about this section of my life, so I'll move on. Before I enter the next chapter, some background is needed. My parents are both kind of fucked, a fact that isn't entirely their fault, and in the case of my mother, isn't her fault at all. My mother has bipolar disorder, and possibly schizophrenia as well. And my father is a bit of an Asperger-type character, if you catch my drift. Oh, we catch it, my friend, that's right. They're both good parents when they're stable, but whenever my mother goes through an episode or my father relapses, living with them is pretty shitty. So the Great Recession hits, and my parents, my brother and I, are forced to move in with my grandparents, who lived in southern Pennsylvania at the time. I was around 8 years old. Things continued as they normally would until we'd been living with my grandparents for a few years. It's at this point that my mother goes through the first of her episodes that I can remember, which was probably the worst since I was a child and I didn't really understand what was going on. She draws on the windows with chalk to keep demons out. She tries to convince my brother and I that our father is the devil. She tries to escape my grandmother while sort of kidnapping us and more. At the climax of this, my brother, my mother, my father, and I were all standing in the driveway trying to calm my mother down. She threw a wooden object at my father's head, and my father got really pissed. He walked up to her and punched her in the stomach, causing her to hunch forward and fall to the floor. Anyways, she gets sent to a mental hospital after mental hospital, always opting to leave until she finally snaps out of it after a few months, and decides to stay for a while in order to get better. When she finally got out, she was back to normal for the most part. When I was around 12 years old, my father began living in New Jersey after having a falling out with my grandparents, his in-laws, in which a restraining order was filed against my father. We moved in with him after the school year ended, and we found a shitty little apartment in one of the smallest suburban towns in the state. I mostly enjoyed my life there. It's there that I fell in love for the first time, had my first kiss, and met a lot of great friends that I still keep in touch with to this day. However, it's also where I had some of the shittiest moments of my life and began to repress my emotions as well as my ability to empathize with others. When I was 13, my mother went through another episode, and I shit you not, it was brought on by Donald Trump winning the 2016 election.
Jackie Chan doesn't actually speak English. In movies he's fed lines he doesn't understand. He speaks them because he naturally retains some sentences and words. But if you start talking in English he might not understand. In Adventures it was some guy.
Yeah, Jackie Chan Adventures, Jackie Chan was voiced by a voice actor. But Jackie Chan, I think he speaks English. I mean, he appears in that show. After the cartoon, he has a live action segment where he gives kids advice. I'm pretty sure Jackie Chan knows English. He's starred in a lot of English-speaking movies. I shit you not, it was brought on by Donald Trump winning the 2016 election. She cried when it was announced that he won, and this fact is really funny to me in hindsight. Trust me, a lot of fucking people cried on that night. I was crying tears of laughter because I couldn't believe how funny it all was. This time around, her manic state wasn't based on religion and demons and shit, and was instead based on Donald Trump and her protesting his presidency on Facebook basically every hour of every day. One time during this episode, she met an equally manic gay guy online, and despite having no background in politics whatsoever, tried to run for governor of New Jersey. This sounds really fucking funny, and it is, but at the time it was really annoying because it was all she would talk about. Since the house was so small, it was really easy for her to be much more annoying than she was last time. She got in my father's face all the time, making him really angry. He was past his prime at this point, however, so he didn't do much wife-beaty shit. Apparently, he almost killed my mom many times in his 20s, one time drowning her in a bathtub. It wasn't until around 3 months into Trump's presidency that she began to settle down. She was staying at my grandparents' house, which was now in New York because my grandfather got a job opportunity there, and things began to get a little bit less stressful, until they immediately got worse. Once my mother finally returned, my father almost immediately started doing opioids. Almost every day he would be high. He missed many days of work, and I was afraid that we would have to move again. He went to rehab many times, but always relapsed when he came back. Yeah, well, ain't that some relatable fucking shit. Eventually, he stopped doing opioids and switched to hard alcohol, hey? Ain't that some relatable fucking shit. He got completely wasted every day, hey? Ain't that some... And I'm quite surprised and impressed considering he somehow didn't die. My mother began to loathe my father in his state, but always trusted him when he said he would get better. Eventually, we had enough and moved in with my grandparents in New York, where I currently preside. My father continues to relapse every so often, but he's in New Jersey, so I don't really give a fuck. Anyway, I'm not sure if it was these experiences that caused this or if I was simply born this way, but I have reason to believe I lack empathy. I don't really feel anything when I wrong people, and throughout the shit that happened in my life, I never once felt bad for my parents or my little brother. As I mentioned previously, I also built up a habit of repressing my emotions. I have not cried in many years. I've tried to, but I really don't think I have the ability. The repression of my emotions has severely taken a toll on my social life, as one would expect it to. Every day at school, I just keep to myself and rarely express any sort of emotion at all. People probably think I'm really fucking weird because of this, and as a result, I have basically no friends. Anyway, that's the end of my gay story. Thanks for reading. XOXO Colin. Well, if that isn't related, that's right. Okay. All right, you guys have any advice for Colin here? He thinks he might be some sort of emotionless sociopath, folks. Relatable. So fucking edgy. Don't be gay. Good story, Colin. Suck your own dick. Good advice. No, you know what? This is really good advice, folks. You guys should all go into therapist fields. You guys are helping out a lot. Oh, that Jackie Chan bullshit was from fucking Skumky? I knew he was full of shit. Skumky's always posting bullshit. XOXO is emotional. Well, he did say it was a gay story, folks. Probably not a lack of empathy, just bottling things up. Gonna have a brain hemorrhage at 38. Hemorrhoid is something else. Hemorrhage is up here. Oops. I watched Mumkey Jones anime review and I am dying. I watched Mumkey Jones anime review and I am dying. Okay. Well, folks, I have to leave in 2 minutes. So if you have any final things you want to say in this hour-long depression chamber, throw it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm getting the hell out of here to go watch Avengers Endgame with sheep. See you, Patchy's GF. Tell Patchy I said hi. That wasn't really depressing. What, this story? He said at the beginning it wouldn't be depressing. He said it was something else. And he said, fuck you anyway, I'll tell it. I'm Jackie Chan and this is my game, okay? Are you still selling the pic of the girl yet? No, for the rest of my life, if somebody sends me $10 on PayPal or in this stream, I will just reply with a picture of that girl. There you go. Susan sucks, Susan sucks, Susan sucks, Susan sucks. Shit stream, can't wait for next week with the long stories. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, we skipped 2 super long stories. I'm looking forward to getting to those. They sound depressing. You can see what I look like for free. Yeah, but Carson, they want to see what Jared James's crush looks like. The girl he's in love with, who I said was cute. They want to see. Stop telling me you hope my blood pressure's okay, you motherfuckers. Okay, 10 o'clock. Guys, thanks for tuning into Depression Chamber. I'll be back next week with maybe a 2-hour episode to make up for this one being short since I have to go see Avengers. Maybe we'll read those 2 super long essay novel stories. For Depression Chamber, I hope you guys last another week. Don't kill yourselves this week. Just because you saw Endgame doesn't mean you need to die. You still have things to live for. This is really more me saying this for myself and not to you guys. Gotta convince myself that this is true. See you guys next time. What's your blood pressure, man? I'm scared. Fuck you. Fuck you, Chris.